Hello and welcome to Console Accessories, a channel dedicated to giving you information about all accessories across all consoles. And in today's video, I've got my pick of the top 5 accessories for the Nintendo Switch, all under £10. So let's kick this straight off with probably the most essential, certainly the smallest. It's a SanDisk Ultra 64GB micro SD card. Now, you might already have an SD card, which is absolutely fantastic, but if you haven't, you really need to get one. The Switch and the Switch Lite come with only 32GB internal memory, and you will fill that up. The Switch library has thousands and thousands of games, and you're going to want to install quite a few. If you keep to your 32 internal, you're going to run out of room pretty sharpish. Whereas if you get a card, now this costs under £10, about £9.98, all you do is you flick open your kickstand, flip open your kickstand, pop that in, and your Switch instantly recognises it. And with the Switch Lite, all you do is you pop that in there, and then the Switch recognises it and starts, whenever you download games, it will download them straight onto your memory card without taking up the internal memory. This is absolutely essential, and I'd say you need to get one of these ASAP if you're going to start downloading games. Okay, that's the first pick. And now my second choice is this. This is a PowerA stealth case with the Mario branding. I believe there's a few bits of branding. There's a Mario one, there's a Zelda one, I believe there's a Pokemon one. And the reason I chose this one over any others, it's really good quality. It just feels really nice to touch, and it seems like it gives a decent level of protection. So when you open it up, there's this flappy bit. I'll explain why there's a flappy bit in a minute. And there's a netting there for some cables and whatnot, and then 5 slots there for some physical games. And all you do is you pop your Switch in, close it up, zip it up, and as you'd expect, it's a perfect fit, and it gives a really good level of protection, especially if you're going to want to be throwing it into a bag, or if you're moving your Switch around a lot, you're going to want something that protects it, and this case does an ideal job. So this flappy bit here, what's that for? If you put it like that, you got yourself a desk stand. So when you're in desktop mode, you can play it like that, or flip that under like that. You can play it desktop mode there like that. Really useful. Obviously it fits. This will fit the Switch Lite as well. Cases are made for the Switch Lite. There are cases out there for the Lite, and yes, it will fit it. But as you see, it will probably rattle around a bit. I suggest you go and get a case. Plenty out there that's designed for a Switch Lite. But for a regular Switch, this PowerA stealth case is superb. No fuss. Love it. Okay, so that's the second one. Now moving on to number 3. It's this one. This is a play stand for Nintendo Switch by Unique. Now there's lots of stands on Amazon and in places you could buy. There's loads of different models, loads of different brands, loads of different makes, and the reason why I chose this one is because it's £6.59. That's why. There is an Hori version that looks very similar to this, but it's almost double the price. So let's have a look. Okay, as you can tell, it's cheap. It's very, very light. Okay, let's get our scales out and see how much this weighs. We're looking at 120 grams, I'd say. Okay, so nearly 130 grams. That's nothing, is it? What you can do is just throw that in your bag. It doesn't matter if it gets scratched or knocked a bit, because it feels like it's going to be pretty hard wearing, but it's only £6 as well. It's got a nice rubber feet on the bottom there to stop it from slipping around. And that's where the Switch goes. And it has 3 kind of like settings, so you can have it on high, medium, or laid back. So let's put it on the medium one. And on here, you can see there's 2 prongs there, which is where it holds on the Switch there, with these 2 holes. So you just plonk it on, and it stays on there, so you can't really move it off very well. Excellent. So again, when you're playing tabletop mode, you can play it like that, or if you want it to sit back a bit, or if you want to sit it right up, which is quite high, so you'd have to be sitting a bit further back for that. Again, it does fit the Switch Lite. Switch Lite doesn't have these holes there, so it will be resting on those prongs rather than around them. can move it around a little bit. It's not very secure, but if you're just going to put it on there and leave it, again, tabletop mode, not a problem at all. But what I was saying is, this is £6, perfect for taking around your friend's house, throwing in your bag, not being too precious about it, and then being able to use it anytime you want to. Fantastic bit of kit, that, really impressed. Okay, now moving on to the fourth thing, is this. What do you think this is? This is exactly how it's come. I have opened it, I have played about with it a little bit, and I'm really excited. Because what this is a wireless controller. So you get your USB stick with it. Now, I've got a USB over here, so what you have to do, it's micro USB. What you do is you plug it in and it will charge up with the 4 LEDs there, so that's just charging up. And I've already charged this and I've already connected it to my Switch, so I'll show you how it works in a minute. But I just wanted to give you an overall impressions of it, and I'm really impressed by it. Now, you think I got this for £9.99, and I have seen the price fluctuate. I've seen it go down to about £9, £9.20, but I've also seen it go up to about £14, so it does fluctuate, so get it on your wish list and wait for it to drop. Now, for under £10, you think it wouldn't do much. It does everything. It does motion controls and it does rumble as well. I'll show you the motion controls in a bit. But overall, it feels okay. It's very light. So we're looking at 172 grams. Okay, so let's compare that to a Pro controller. That's nearly 250, so that's nearly 80 grams less, which is really light, isn't it? And it's got the buttons offset like it does with the Xbox controllers and the Pro controllers, not like the DS4. And the D-pad there, home, plus minus, screen grab, X, Y, and B, really nicely highlighted there. And the L1 and R1. And these two, the only issue I've got really are these are a bit stiff. I mean, you couldn't be firing for a long time with one of them, because that does get quite stiff. But it does have motion and rumble, which is amazing for a controller for this amount. So let's use the stand while we're here. Get our new stand rolling. Okay, so all you would do is once you connect, you hold that down and then you go into your Joy-Con settings and it will connect. When it's connected, it'll be just a single LED there. So if we play Zelda, right, there we go. Look, there we go. You see that? Which is incredible for a controller this cheap. And it does rumble as well. I've already tested the rumble and it seems to be fine. It seems to be absolutely fine. Home, your screen grab, and your triggers. Really, really good. Really responsive. Nice clicky sticks. These aren't particularly clicky, they're just button presses. I'm saying the triggers are a bit stiff. A lot of travel in the thumbsticks. But my main point with this controller is, if you're looking for something you want to take over to your mate's house and you want to throw in a bag, so you're going to throw your stand in because you don't have to be too worried about that, this is going to be perfect. Whereas this, I would want to wrap this in wrap it in foam and just keep it all nice and safe and protect it as much as I can. Whereas this, I wouldn't need to worry about it too much because it's 5 times less than a Pro controller and it does exactly the same. It's really nice. It's okay, you can see why it's cheaper, but it is a lot cheaper. And you can just throw this in the bag and away you go. Or what I'd also suggest is, if you've got kids and you want them to have a controller, don't worry about spending out on or even a wired controller or the Pro controller. You can get yourself a nice cheap controller and let them go nuts with it. Because £10 is a lot of money, but it's not as much as 50 quid for another controller. And I would be sick if one of my kids broke a Pro controller, whereas this one I would still be a little bit upset, but I wouldn't be as upset. And this is great. I think this is an absolutely fantastic alternative to the Pro controller. Really, really impressed. For less than a tenner. Okay, now something else. I want to show you this. I have used this very briefly, but I wanted to put it back in the box to show you what it is. Look at that. I'll tell you what, this is something special. I paid £9.98 for this. Remember, the controller, same price, came in that white box. This headset came in this box. And let me open it up and show you. What it is, it's a wired headset, and look at it, it's huge. I mean, look at these cans. 10 centimetres round they are. They're huge. Now, let me go over it for you. So you've got your two cans here, mainly plastic, a bit of a metal grill there, and the padding on the inside. Fairly soft. I mean, you're looking at, it's going to be some sort of fake leather, isn't it? But fairly soft, so it's nice and comfy on the ear. And then these bits here are all metal, and this band here is brilliant. This comfy headband here, and it's not too tight as well. I haven't got a huge head, but I haven't got a pin head, and it clasps on quite nicely. There is a bit of a sound bleed on it, but it's never going to be huge amounts because it don't exactly go very loud, not on the Switch anyway. And you can hear to a certain amount some people talking, but what I would suggest is, certainly with my kids, I wouldn't let them use this, the younger kids. I have my kids have the on-ear one so they can hear me talking while they're playing their games, whereas this one I'd say was both for teenagers and upwards, because they wrap around the ear. I haven't used these for a long gaming session, so I don't know what it's like with sweaty ears or anything, but initial impressions, they seem okay. And there's your microphone there. Haven't tested it with the Switch online service yet. I will get round to that at some point. But overall, initially, I was really, really impressed. Huge long cable, 6-foot cable, going up to two 3.5s and a USB. Okay, so there's a red and a green one. The red one's, I don't know what's for. Green one, you plug it into the Switch and away it goes. And for obvious reasons, it works in the Switch Lite as well. And also, you've got a USB, so let me plug this into my USB and I'll show you what it does. Look at that. Let's knock the lights off. It lights up. That's phenomenal, isn't it? For less than £10. For less than £10, you can get a headset with some nice shiny lights, a bit of comfort, and a microphone. There's your volume. Yeah, really pleased with that. And again, it was like with the controller and like with the stand, because it's so cheap, you don't need to be as precious with it. And you can just throw it in your bag and pick it out whenever you need to. So let's have a look. How much do these weigh? Okay, don't know if you can see that. 257 grams. So nearly 260 grams. That's not much. So they're nice and light on the head. Really, really pleased with these. Okay, so we've got the headset, the stand, the controller, the case, and the 64GB card. So these 5 here cost less than £50. This Pro controller costs £50. What with Christmas coming up, it's a very expensive time of year for a lot of people. If they're wanting things like controllers and headsets, stands and cases, you can spend a fortune. You can spend an absolute fortune. But I found all 5 of these for less than £50, and this will do you. This will do you for the entire Switch accessories. A nice stand, nice case, controller, headset, and definitely the card. The card will be the first thing you buy. So I'm really, really pleased with all these, and I wouldn't hesitate to recommend them to anyone. Okay, so what do you think? Are you going to pick up any of these 5? Please let me know in the comments below. And what I'll do is I'll post a link to amazon.co.uk for all the pricing. I'll see if I can get the American versions, If I can, I'll link them below from Amazon.com. But have a look. Let me know if you've got any of them and how you're getting on with them. I'd really be interested to hear how you're getting on. Okay, any questions, let me know. And until the next video, bye bye.